Hello, my name is Mary. How are you doing today, friend? I hope that your day is going well. I have some beautiful sunshine today. It has been just a beautiful sunny weekend in Missouri, and I've been so grateful for that, and I hope that wherever you are, you have a little sunshine or something that makes you happy today. So today I would like to go through my January wrap-up. In this video I'm going to do the 4 physical books that I read, and then I'll have another wrap-up that is the 3 audiobooks I listened to in January, and I will leave that linked or tabbed or somewhere whenever it goes up. So I read, like I said, 4 physical things in January. I really enjoyed them all, or at least found something to like out of them, so let's just get started with it. The first thing I read in January was Saga Volume 1. This is the first graphic novel that I've ever read, and I quite enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the artwork, and the colors are really, bright in this, and just the artwork is fantastic. And I really enjoyed the storyline. It follows our 2 main protagonists. They are from warring planets or places, and they're not supposed to be together. They're supposed to kind of be these mortal enemies, but against all odds, they are together, and they have a little baby. And so it's just their struggle for freedom and just struggle to live the life together that they want to. So it says really important things kind of about, you know, warring people, what that does to the societies, kind of the mindset behind who your enemy is, which was cool. I love that the little baby, in the first page, she's giving birth to this little baby, but the baby kind of is giving you this overarching narrative and kind of telling you and weaving in this beautiful bigger story to the action-packed things that are going on. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm really excited to get to volume 2. I will say though that there is some graphic adult material in this. And yeah, just be aware of that if graphic material isn't something that you are comfortable with, that it is in this and quite a bit in this. I didn't find that it was gratuitous just for the sake of being there. I kind of thought that it served a purpose in the storyline, so it didn't bother me, but it might bother some people. So yeah, but I think I gave this 4 stars, and I'm looking forward to picking up volume 2. The second thing that I read and finished in January was The Gracekeepers by Kirsty Logan. This book is absolutely beautiful, and I want to show you the naked hardcover. So pretty. So you see the little mer people swimming in the water. Yeah, this is hands down the most beautiful book that I own. So The Gracekeepers is the story of 2 young women, Esch and North. They live in a world where basically the water has risen so high. There are just these little pockets of land. There's not much land available, so a lot of people live on the water, and they're called the damplings. And then we also have the people, like the land dwellers, who live on the small little islands. And there's kind of a dispute between the damplings and the land dwellers because land is so precious and so highly sought after. We follow North and Esch. These are 2 female protagonists in this. Esch was born and raised on the land, and North was born and raised on a boat. And she was actually born and raised on a circus boat and is in this traveling water circus with her bear. This story is very beautifully written. It is beautifully woven together with the 2 girls' storylines. The world is absolutely whimsical and fantastical and magical, and it's just beautifully written. I must say though, I wasn't as intrigued or interested in Esch and North's story as I would have liked to have been, with how beautiful of a premise is set up, how beautiful the writing is, and just the world is just so interesting and cool. I didn't care a ton about Esch or North's story. I just felt very held at arm's length from the characters. I didn't feel like I knew their motives a lot of time. I just felt like they were kind of there, and I was more enjoying the world and the writing rather than their actual story. So it's not that it was a well-written story. It was a pretty story. The plot was okay. It just wasn't super I don't know, I didn't feel super connected with Callan North. So for that, I gave that a 3-star. But I did enjoy Kirsty Logan's writing, and I do think I'm going to check out her short story collections. The next book I read in January was The Vile Village by Lemony Snicket. This is the 7th book in the series of Unfortunate Events books, and I really enjoyed this. Being the 7th book, I don't want to give a ton away about it. So this follows the Baudelaire orphans and kind of the troubles they get to because of Count Olaf trying to steal their parents' fortune. This was fun, quick, super nostalgic read for me. I read these all when I was a kid, and this is my first reread of them. This has definitely been my favorite so far in my reread. I loved this story. I love how we're starting to get kind of a bigger mystery woven in to the storyline, and the plot is just kind of thickening and expanding, and that's really cool. And so I'm really excited to continue on with this. And last but certainly not least, the chunkiest book I read in January was Patrick Rothfuss' The Name of the Wind. This is a fantasy novel following Kvothe, who is like kind of a myth or a legend almost in the world that he lives in, and we're listening to Kvothe tell his story, which is just such a cool concept. So Kvothe is telling the true story, his true retelling of kind of the stories that have made him this kind of myth or legend in this world. So it's such a cool concept. Kvothe is a very strong main character. He has been through a lot, but he has such just vigor to live and to thrive in the life that he's living. I loved Kvothe's childhood. I love how important music is to Kvothe and how music is woven into Kvothe's story. I love Kvothe's performance background and how that kind of affects so many different parts of Kvothe's life and how he's able to use it in so many different situations. I think that's a really cool part of Kvothe as a character. I love how he cares for people. So yeah, this is a very character-driven fantasy novel. Not a ton of action happens, but enough to keep it moving and interesting. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I must say I don't think I enjoyed it quite as much as some. It is a very well-loved book, and for good reason. It's well written. But I couldn't quite give it a 5-star, and I think a couple of the issues I had with it were the way women were portrayed. I don't know, sometimes I just felt like they were used as a plot device or just kind of one-dimensional, and that bothered me. And not all the time. There were just some things where it didn't gel with me. Like some of the women just didn't seem like real people. Also, I felt like sometimes the pacing could be off a bit, that there were parts where we would kind of just spend a lot of time, and I was kind of like, where are we going with this? And also different parts of the story where I wanted to spend some more time and learn more, and we kind of just rushed through it. So I definitely felt like the pacing was not always what I wanted it to be, but it was still very well written, very enjoyable, and I am having a little bit of a book hangover after this because it is just such a long and epic story, and I kind of feel like, oh, like what, I can't get into another book. I'm still thinking about this one. So yeah, definitely really enjoyed it. I gave it a very high 4 stars, and I'm definitely looking forward to the second book. This is definitely a big setup for the second novel, and he even says it, Kvothe, as he's telling the story at the end, even says, like, I have set you up, you have the bare bones, so I can now tell you the rest of my story, and I'm very excited to kind of get into the rest of Kvothe's story. So that is all that I physically read in January. Like I said, really enjoyed them all, at least had something, or felt like I gleaned something out of all the books that I read, and so that was really awesome, and I'm very much looking forward to starting some new reads in February. So I'd love to hear what your favorite book that you read in January was. I think out of all the books that I read, The Name of the Wind was definitely the most memorable and epic story that I read, but I'd love to know what was your favorite story that you read in January. So here's to wishing everyone happy reading in February, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.